Hi, my name is Toni, and I'm working with
Brenda Aronson.
Diana Garcia.
And Dre Juarez.
We will be having an interview today with Dre Juarez about self-presentation and awareness. Just to make it clear, self-awareness refers to the extent to which we are fixing our attention on our own concept. When the self-concept becomes highly accessible because of our concerns and being observed and potentially judged by others, we experience the publicly induced self-awareness known as self-consciousness.
Presentation and awareness to many is described as the way we present ourselves. The way we dress does say a lot about ourselves. We are unique in the way we dress. We all have a style. When people see us, it is inevitable that people have first impressions. When and why should we care about how we appear to others?
For many, it could be easy to see and identify ourselves as we were born, but what about those who feel like they were born in the wrong body? How do you explain to even yourself?
Hi, Dre. We are going to be talking about self-presentation. Are you willing to answer a couple of questions?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. First, please tell us about your gender identity.
Sure. So I identify as a trans man. Usually trans people don't want to have to explain what this means, but for the circumstances, I will. Being a trans man means that at birth I was assigned to the female sex, but as I've grown up and gotten to know myself, I've realized my gender expression doesn't align with my sex. So, yeah, I'm Dre and my pronouns are he, him.
Hi, Dre. Thank you for that. So, when did you become aware of your gender identity, and at what point did you feel it was okay to express and let others know?
So, like since elementary school, I've always aligned myself with the boys around me. I didn't really understand what the difference between them and me was, or that there was supposed to be a difference. And then in middle school, I toyed with the idea of my first girlfriend calling me her boyfriend, but I didn't take the time to unpack what that meant. And then in my senior year of high school slash freshman year of university, I realized I was trans. And I started to present myself as male, and I informed people of my pronouns. That's also when I started to tell people my name is Dre. It was the first time in my life I felt like I was being seen for who I am. It was also the first time I left my family home, and considering I wasn't and still am not out to my family, I felt safe expressing my male gender identity without fear of disappointing my family.
Wow, that was really good. So, when you first realized that there was a different taste in you than what is usually seen as the social norm, did you ever feel that others were wrong about what they opinion, or did you ever feel that you were inside the wrong body?
Um, as a kid, I was told I was just a tomboy and that with puberty and age, I would step into loving traditionally girly things. Then when I came out as a lesbian, people said, "Oh, well, you're butch then." But I'm not a girl in men's clothing. I know it's difficult to wrap your head around being in the wrong body, but just try and imagine waking up tomorrow as the opposite sex and having everyone refer to you in the wrong pronouns. You know who you are and how you identify, but should you try and explain that to someone closed minded, they invalidate you or call you some freak of nature.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So thank you so much, Jay, for that. Now I'll be passing on to Brenda.
Hi, Dre, how are you today?
Hi.
So how has your self-esteem changed since coming out as a transgender man?
So considering I'm still early in my transition, my self-esteem now as a trans man is lower than it was as a lesbian. When I hadn't realized my gender identity, I didn't have anything to prove to anyone. I guess I still don't have anything to prove, but when I was a lesbian, no one ever told me, no, you're not. But when I first came out as a trans man to the people close to me, the first thing they replied was, no, you're not. So I'm stuck in this mentality of constantly having to prove my masculinity and my gender identity. Although usually strangers and people gender me correctly with he, him, from time to time I still get called she, her, hurts, you know? That I know who I am and I just try to exist in line with how sometimes.
Great answer. Do you ever feel that you need to let others know about your gender identity?
This always depends on what kind of environment I'm in. In my social science classes, I've felt safe enough to mention it, especially now over Zoom. It feels a lot safer because I'm in my house and not on a campus where I'm going to have to walk to the parking lot to get into my car. But at work, I do not let them know that I'm trans. At work, I've been asked what my full name is, and because of legal paperwork, I had to tell them. But luckily for me, that didn't out me, and they continue to use he, him for me. So sometimes I feel the need to keep it a secret, but other times I just feel like sharing because I'm not ashamed of my identity. I'm just protective of it.
Awesome. Great answers. Thank you so much for that. We're going to pass it on to Diana now.
Thank you so much, Brenda. How are you? Hi. So my question for you is, when you know that someone is observing you, does that influence your behavior in any way?
Yeah, 100%. I would say I feel this the most when it comes to using a public restroom. Because men's restrooms, they have urinals and stalls, but usually they only have like 2 or 3 stalls. So there have been many instances where I walk in to use the bathroom and there'll be a couple of guys in there, and then I'll have these anxiety thoughts of you can't use a stall or else they'll know you, and you don't know how that'll play out, and it just overwhelms me, and I just have to wash my hands and leave. At my community college, I knew of a gender neutral bathroom on the other side of campus, and so I always had to time that in between my classes. And one time they were out of order, so I actually had to get in my car and drive a couple blocks to a Pollo Loco that I knew had gender neutral bathrooms so that I could go there.
I see. Thank you. Though you are a trans man, does that change your sexual orientation, or are you considered heterosexual, and or could that be subjective?
So, yes, it does. Before I realized I'm transgender, I was a girl who liked the girls, so that made me a lesbian or gay. But now being a trans man who is attracted to women, that makes me straight, which is weird to say, because at this point in my life, I've been gay for longer than I've been trans. And at times I still catch myself calling myself gay, even though I'm not. But maybe that's just me, because in my community, I have heard of trans men and trans masculine people still identifying as a lesbian. But I don't really know much about that, to be honest.
I see. Well, thank you very much for that. Is there anything that you would like to let our audience know for today? Any specific?
Well, yeah. I'm remembering a quote by Dominique Jackson in an interview where she was talking about when she finally felt secure in her transgender identity. And she was explaining how trans people don't want to ask for your respect. Because in order for me to ask for your respect, that means I'm already putting you in a place of superiority over me. And you're not superior to me. We're just human beings. So that's what I want everyone to remember, that we're all just human beings who deserve compassion.
Exactly. I like that. That's very powerful. Yeah. Well, any questions, anybody?
I think you pretty much answered them all.
Awesome. Well, that concludes our interview for today, and I hope you were all able to get, some insights from a different point of view today. And it is important to know that it's not good to assume the same for every gender person. So go ahead and keep that in mind. And yeah, that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, bye.